Hello everybody, I'm Novi and welcome back to the channel. It's been another wild year in the world of pro wrestling, especially so for AEW. So much stuff happening backstage, so many highs and lows from the product. It's been no break from it all this year. But the new year is only a day away, and with a new year comes a lot of new opportunities. So today, I thought I'd take this opportunity to go over some things I hope to see from AEW in 2024. Before we do get started, leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for videos every Saturday, just talking graps. For my first wish, I think we should start with the one that everyone knows is coming. In 2024, I want more focus on the women in AEW. 2023 is another 365 days where little care is shown to this division, and at this point, what can you even say? It's become clear what Tony thinks about women's wrestling, and it's just sad to see considering the talent that they have on their roster. I will admit that it's been marginally better as of late, with the champs Julia Hart and Toni Storm both getting a lot of time and focus on the shows to build their stories up. Whether you like those stories or not is, up to you, but at least they're getting time. Another positive is how they built up Mariah May's in-ring debut week to week, because now it feels like a big deal as it should, and that's just not always the case for new women on the roster. At the end of the day though, it's the same story that it was last year and the year before that. I just want to see women in more consequential matches, more stories, and more focused programs going into 2024. At this point, I'm sure we all feel like broken records when it comes to talking about this division, but guys, it can always be said again. They have women like Sheeta, Rosa, Hayter, Statlander, and Athena, and more all on the roster, and they just have to be better. And so, at some point, they have to listen to their fans. So hopefully 2024 is the year they finally open their ears and give the women something more than what they've been getting the last few. To follow that up, I think I want to talk about another division that I want to see a lot more focus put on in 2024, and that's the tag team division. The whole thing has felt entirely directionless since Jurassic Express lost those belts, which was, a year and a half ago. An absolute mess of championship reigns when it comes to the booking, and sometimes even the matches have just destroyed the value these titles once had, and it's just a sad sight to see as someone who loved tag team wrestling in AEW in that 2021 period. FTR's recent championship reign was abysmal, and like I said, it is due to the booking, but also just because overall these titles felt so insignificant. It felt like they didn't want to build anybody up to challenge FTR and would just throw random teams at them, and it made it feel like nobody was vying for this top prize anymore. Compare that FTR pop at the beginning of 2023 to now, and you can just hear the difference. Fans don't care about them as much, and they've been cooled down a lot, and it really does suck because I think at the start of this year, you would have never thought that would happen with them because they were just so over. I don't understand why a company that was at one time known for its tag team division and its love and appreciation for tag team wrestling just let it fall to the wayside. And so that's why I want to see it get a lot better in 2024. Ricky Starks and Big Bill have been fine transitional champions, but that's all they should be. They should be transitioning into a new era of tag team wrestling in AEW. There should be plans for the full year ahead already put together. There should be real stories already planned out. Build up teams to feel like legitimate threats like you once did. I mean, you have Top Flight, Private Party, and potentially heel Young Bucks coming back. You have so much potential to get this division back to where it was, back to its glory days. It was proven all those years ago that people love tag team wrestling. It was proven earlier this year with the FTR Bullet Club Gold match that people love to watch tag team wrestling, and AEW should be the home of that once again. So in 2024, I need focus on tag teams. Up next, I think we got to throw in a little bit of a business-oriented one. I want AEW to appear on or at least announce a streaming deal in 2024. There are so many Dynamites I'd love to go back to, and maybe I'd even rewatch the entire thing. I don't know, I might get crazy with it, but I just can't because they're just so inaccessible and difficult to find, and on streaming services, they'd be listed one after another, which would be perfect. Not even just that, imagine how many more people would be watching the pay-per-views if they weren't $50. You could look at WWE's deal with Peacock, and I even sometimes tune at WWE pay-per-views because why wouldn't I? I already have Peacock. It's something that I know AEW and TK have been working on forever, so I won't spend so much time yapping about it, but I would love to see this next year. Next, I'd love to see some more continuity from AEW in the next year. A perfect example of this being not very good right now was actually on Dynamite this week when it comes to Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara. Let's do a timeline real quick. Sammy Guevara turns on Jericho at Grand Slam to join the Don Callis family. He then gets concussed soon after, has a baby, congratulations, and comes back to turn against Don Callis and reunite with Chris Jericho. Because why not? That whole timeline of events makes no sense. And people have tried to excuse it by saying, oh, Kenny got injured. That doesn't mean you have Sammy Guevara go back with Jericho again for no good reason, just to be, Robin forever. It's one of those things where this company was known for long-term storytelling, and now it kind of feels like they forget what they told a couple months ago. And I need them to remember those things, because I do. It's not just that, though. It's how wrestlers are just forgotten about after having some great match or some great moment with no sort of explanation. Santana and Ortiz had their singles match 9 weeks ago on Rampage. It was a good match, and they still haven't reappeared on TV since. I'm not sitting here and saying that they would be perfect fits as singles guys or that it was always going to work out, but they had a great match. They looked good as singles guys, so why would you not give them a chance to show out again? There needs to be a lot more focus and direction long term when it comes to these pushes, because currently these kinds of things aren't helping any of these guys at all. So maybe continuity isn't even the best word. Maybe it's just AEW having better direction for their wrestlers and for their stories in 2024, because it feels like a lot of times these stories just go on either forever or don't go on long enough or all these certain things. There's no middle ground. There's no balance a lot of the time, and there needs to be that balance. Continuing on, my next hope for AEW is for them to give more time to their babyfaces to cut promos and do their own segments on the shows. It feels like all too often we get heels like Christian cutting the promos in the ring, and while that's necessary, and while those promos are usually very good, when's the last time a hero came out alone to just get the fans in attendance behind their cause? In WWE, Cody Rhodes is always given time to build his stories and flesh out his character just in segments alone in the ring, and because of that, this fan base rallies behind him like he's a real life war hero. AEW can do this too. We've seen that with Continental Classic promos backstage. These guys are just given a few minutes at a time to just tell their stories and build up their arcs, and look at what it's done for them. Just look at what Daniel Garcia has done by himself in the CC. He got time to build up his arc and to tell fans, hey, get behind me, root for me, I'm gonna do this. And by the end, in his match with Brody King, the fans were totally behind him, 100%. Eddie Kingston has always been someone the fans have rallied behind, but through the Continental Classic and this story of just self-doubt and being the king of the bums, the fans have rooted behind him now more so than ever before, which is saying a lot. There needs to be time for the Eddie Kingston, the Kenny Omegas, the Hangman Adam Pages of the world to cut their promos. And while I love the stuff backstage, don't get me wrong, I'm always going to watch them, I want it to be done in front of a live crowd. I want to hear the roof come unglued. I want to hear the fans rallying behind their hero. That's what makes a promotion great, when you have people to root for all the time. Real people, real stories told their way gets the fans invested so deeply in each of these characters, and AEW has shown they can do it. They just need to do it more and on a grander scale in 2024. Of course, I saved the thing I'm hoping for the most for last. I want AEW to return to a more sports-like presentation in 2024. The Continental Classic has been great in so many ways and has been a much-needed breath of fresh air for this entire company. It's also been extremely eye-opening for fans who didn't realize just how much they missed the way AEW told stories like they have during this tournament. All different kinds of organic storylines have been popping up all over the place that are solely based on wins, losses, ascending up the card, and pro wrestling. It feels like AEW's lost art that they moved away from when they just really shouldn't have. And that's not just me speaking subjectively, that's also objectively when you look at the ratings and viewership numbers for the CC matches. If you need any more proof, just look at how fans are reacting to AEW TV right now online. I don't see people saying they want more Devil storylines. I see people talking about how they want more of Daniel Garcia's ascension and Eddie Kingston's self-actualization. And people will always say, oh, that's not real life. Look at the live crowds. Listen to their reactions. Okay, go back and listen to the live reaction for MJF getting pinned on Dynamite this week, and then go back and listen to the reaction for Eddie Kingston versus Bryan Danielson this week. The fans were so totally invested in the Mad King versus Dragon and so totally tuned out of the Devil storyline because all people want is real stories based on real things that matter, like championships or wins and losses or title opportunities, because it just makes it so much easier for people to get behind the people in the stories. That's why I love the AEW ranking system and why I think it should absolutely come back, because it provided the simplest foundation for stories to build on ever. The person ranked lower than you wants your spot, and they're going to beat you in a wrestling match to take it. If you remember, that's the exact reason why Swerve and Hangman started. Swerve wanted Hangman's spot on the card, and look at where that turned out. This way of telling stories is exactly the reason why this company is the alternative. It's why people like me have fallen in love with it. And when I've gotten tastes and I've gotten glimpses from the CC of this kind of storytelling again, I want it back. Based on TK's comments at the World's End media call, I think that he sees that now, and here's the reception that this approach has gotten. He told us to put our money where our mouth is, and I think we all have. It makes me hopeful that my number one hope for AEW is going to come true in 2024, and I think that's going to lead to another boom period for this company as a whole. That's going to do it for today's video, everybody. I hope you all have enjoyed. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below your hopes for AEW in 2024. Since this will be my last video of the year, I want to take a second to thank you guys for all the support and all the love that this channel has been getting since I decided to do this whole making videos thing. 2023 is going to be a memorable year for me for a lot of different reasons, but maybe most of all is starting this channel and just being able to talk graps with so many of you, and I assure you that that will absolutely continue going into 2024. I'm so happy that making videos has become such a big part of my life. I find so much joy in just doing these kinds of things for all of you, so I hope you guys stick around, and just again, thank you. Have a happy new year. Enjoy World's End if you're watching this on the Saturday it comes out. And with that being said, it's been Novi. Much love. Peace.